What up, guys? This is Luke from SoberFromSpare.com. It's like Monday, March 18th, quarter after 2 in the a.m. Hope you guys had a good St. Patrick's Day. I want to start out this video blog by saying recovery is not responsible. That sounds weird, right? Sounds weird saying like recovery is not responsible. Most people would be like, and even me for a very long time, up until tonight when I really thought about it, saying like recovery is really responsible. Like that's a responsible thing to do. All this stuff. It's like a really grown up thing to do. It's responsible. Not the case though. Recovery is not responsible. What makes me say that is got in a conversation with my sponsor about it tonight. I'm excited. I get to have my first sponsee now. Like I'm officially a sponsor. Woo woo. It's about time for me to do this. Like I've been done with the steps for like over a year now. I think I'm more than ready and capable to start sponsoring people, but I've been like really apprehensive about doing it. So anyways though, called my sponsor tonight. I was talking with him about it. Got some notes I took from conversation. And I was asking him about like his views and stuff on like what I need to start doing, and I was just trying to recollect everything that he had me do when I first got involved in recovery, because that was a long time ago and I was still withdrawing freaking Suboxone when it started. So I was really not really thinking. I didn't have the memory down all the way. So I just called him up as a refresher. And he was talking with me about having my my sponsee, call me once every day. And I remember when my sponsor was working me through the steps, I called him every single day at a certain time. It was like 4:30, I think was the time that we agreed on. And when I talked with him tonight about it, he was telling me why he had me do that. And he was saying that really starts using the first two principles, like the first basic principles, I guess I should say, of recovery, and that starts like using that every day in somebody's life who's just starting to get into recovery. And the two principles that he said was responsibility and taking action. And I agree with the taking action part, but I don't agree with responsibility. I don't think recovery is a responsible thing at all. What makes me say that? I know semantics are involved. A lot of people, like, we all have different meanings for what somebody says than the literal definition or whatever. Kind of like all the slanderous terms out there that might seem like you're against like a certain sexuality or something like that, but that's not the case like anymore. A lot of people use slang and stuff. But responsibility, the literal definition for responsibility is the ability to respond. It's in the word. It's like a compound word pretty much, like responsibility. And so when thinking about it, responsibility is responding to external circumstances, things that are out of your control, things that you have no control over, and so you're just responding back to it. Kind of like a responsible parent, for example. Like parents raising a kid, raising another human being, like they obviously are not making the decisions for the kid. They're responding to the kid's decisions and being a parent about it. They're responding to different circumstances that are going on in that kid's life and that parent's life in order to give the kid the best chances at life. That would be a responsible parent, because being a parent is all about giving your kids the best chances to succeed. That's the whole point of being a parent, so that your kids can have the best opportunities in life available to them at the time. So that's a responsible parent. Me having a dog right now, being a responsible pet owner is responding to your pet's needs and like making sure that those happen. When I was using this person right here, there's a picture of me. That's my name tag from when I was in rehab, like 2 years ago. If you could tell in the picture, I'm like really messed up. That was my first day there, and I was on like benzos and weed and methadone and all sorts of crazy shit. But me being an addict and like using all the time, not being in recovery, I was very responsible. A lot more responsible than I am now when I'm in recovery. And that was because like I was responding to external things. I had to end up going through the steps to like get past a lot of my character defects. I had to go through the steps to like get rid of all my resentments and stuff that I had. But basically when I was using, I was a product of my environment. And if I was going through withdrawals because I wasn't high at that moment, like that's what I was basing all my decisions off of. I was responding to my withdrawals. If I was high, I was responding to the high, and I was being responsible with that, you know? So responsibility isn't really like necessarily an honorable trait. It's just, I guess it's kind of, it has a lot of humility in it in the sense that like you're not taking total ownership for everything that's going on. You're just taking ownership for your actions based off of everything else that's going on. However, recovery to me really is not about that. Recovery to me, principle instead of responsibility is being proactive. Recovery really is a choice. If I can do this, you can do this. Like nobody's cut from a different cloth in recovery. We're all like, we're all capable of doing the same stuff. It's just the people that succeed are the ones that are taking action. Like totally agree with that. And being proactive in life. And so like most of the principles, stuff that you have to do in recovery is all about not being responsible, but being proactive, like setting boundaries with people, for example. You're not responding to the shit that they're doing to you. You're setting boundaries so that that shit doesn't happen. And then if that shit does happen, then you're responsible for having the outcome of that boundary, whether it be like, not can't be hanging out with that person anymore, or like telling them the stuff that they're doing wrong when they do stuff that's wrong and they cross your boundary, whatever it is, like that's your responsibility. However, you got to be proactive and set the boundary before it even happens. And so recovery really is about being proactive. It's about getting past being a product of your environment. It's about getting past all your resentments, all your character defects. It's about being proactive. You got to be proactive to do that. You got to like be very proactive to do that. And then you got to be proactive every day from here on out and take action. You can't be proactive without taking action and making sure that everything's right so that you're going on your path of recovery and doing what you're supposed to do, not responding to the external shit that happens. Because that's how relapses happen. I talked about my last relapse that I had with the Ambien in some of my past video blogs and also in my written blog. I think it was labeled like Tonight I Could Have Died or something. I don't know. I wrote it at the very first of the month. That was me being responsible. But my brain is always fucked up because I have addiction. And so I'm always going to be an addict for the rest of my life. And that was me being responsible to that. That was me responding to that. I walked into the house, saw the Ambien there, and my natural response, my ability to respond to that was to pick up the prescription bottle and read what was in it, and then like try not to use the drug. Like that was my relapse. I was just sitting there like meditating and trying to get past it. I talked about it in my video blog that I did on meditation, how I did that. But I had to be proactive in learning how to do meditation. I had to be proactive in setting boundary with my mom afterwards, after that shit happened. I had to be proactive in going through the different things that I could have done, like calling my sponsor. I had to do all that because my responsibility as an addict is I'm going to end up being triggered to use, and I'm going to probably pick up the pill bottle and see what's in it. Like, that's my ability to respond. Being an addict, I literally have no good responsibility when it comes to that stuff because my brain is effed up in the limbic system, prefrontal cortex, so it automatically goes on autopilot and it goes off on its own response. I'm not in control of that. However, with recovery, when you get involved in it and you start doing the stuff, you got to be proactive, and you're not responding to anything. You're just being proactive and going forward and setting up stuff so that you don't have to be responsible later, because our responsibility is not a good responsibility, meaning that the outcome of how we respond to a lot of stuff, all of our history and past actions have showed, like, we're going to relapse or something, so we got to be proactive. We got to get the principles down and be proactive with those. So I know this video blog might sound kind of weird. I know I'm kind of rambling right now. I'm still sick, trying to get over this, and it's early in the morning, but that's what I want to talk about tonight. I think that's a lot more empowering way of looking at this, because recovery really is empowering. I know there's a lot of humility that goes into it, and you have to like accept a higher power and all that stuff. But just the act of doing that, the act of surrendering to something, and the act of like asking for help and being proactive with all that is extremely empowering. And that's like way more powerful than not doing so, because our brains are messed up and our brains are very responsible when it comes towards using. Like, our brains just go automatically on that. Definitely have the ability to do that. So hope this video blog like got you kind of thinking a little bit. Hope it empowered you and changed maybe some of your ideas in your head. This is still a new kind of topic to me. Like, I didn't even think to talk with my sponsor about this, or even the person that I'm sponsoring, or the person I'm sponsoring, my sponsee. I didn't think to talk to him about it until like 2 hours after I talked with both of them. And I'm like, damn it, like, I've been thinking about this for a while now, and like, I've been reading books and like listening to leadership podcasts and stuff, and they talk about responsibility and like all this stuff, like all these self-development programs that I'm into and all these things, like they talk about responsibility, and like I didn't even connect the two until after I talked with him about it tonight. So yeah, I learned something new tonight too, or I see the world differently tonight. So alright, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a good night, and yeah, stay tuned. We will see you soon.